Korea's Constitutional Court is holding the 10th hearing in the impeachment trial of President Park Geun-hye. For the details, we go straight to our reporter, Kim Ji-yeon, who's at the court for us. Ji-yeon, what's the latest?
Well, Mark, the National Assembly's impeachment committee is currently questioning Kim Kyou-hyun, the chief presidential secretary for foreign affairs and security. So they'll have that more later this afternoon. But this morning, he gave testimony as a witness, and the president's lawyers asked him about the structure, roles, and tasks of the government's public safety control tower and how it operates when the nation is in a crisis. He was also asked about how well the control tower functioned during the Sewol-ho ferry sinking in April 2014 when he was working as the deputy chief of the National Security Office.
And Ji-yeon, then, today is the first hearing led by Justice Lee Jung-mi. She's been named the interim acting Chief Justice.
That's right, Mark. There are now 8 Constitutional Court justices instead of the usual 9 after the 6-year term of former Chief Justice Park Geun-hye ended yesterday. He will lead the court until her term ends on March 13th. This is actually the second time he has held the interim chief position since 2013. He said today she will lead the court with a sense of responsibility and fairness during her final case, which is destined to have historic and constitutional significance. With former Chief Justice Park's term ended, 6 of the 8 justices now have to vote in favor of the impeachment motion in order for it to be upheld. And before Kim's testimony, the president's lawyers resubmitted a list of 15 more witnesses, including President Park's longtime confidant, Choi Soon-sil. They reiterated that they are fighting an unfair fight because the court set a timeline for when the trial should end, and so the court is prioritizing speed over a comprehensive review of the case. And in response, the National Assembly's impeachment committee said a speedy trial is as important as a fair hearing, especially as Justice Lee's term is to expire in March. And later today, the court will hear testimony from 2 more incumbent and former senior officials who worked at the presidential office. Yoo Min-bong, the former senior presidential secretary for state affairs planning, and Seoul's ambassador to France, Mo Chol-min. Mo is suspected of being involved in the creation of a blacklist of cultural figures being critical of the government while he was the senior presidential secretary for education and culture in 2013. Back to you, Mark.